Eye of Terror, new book. Let's go.
Here at Tattoo Tabletop, we have a lot of fun, so be sure to like, share, subscribe down below. It's completely free and it helps me out. Now back to the video.
Welcome to Tattoo Tabletop. My name is James, and today we are talking about the Eye of Terror, Reign of Iron, War for the Cadian Gate, the brand new campaign book for Warhammer 40,000. So I've obviously done the other two. We did the 500 Worlds, and of course we also did Maelstrom. And each one of those brought their own little unique flavor to the campaign, to the end of the edition. How does this one fare? I'll just be honest with it right off the bat. It really doesn't do much, if I'm being honest. I mean, when I looked at this, it does feel like a little thinner than the other ones. A bit more excited about this. I did like the impact, the potential here. It's the Iron Warriors coming out of the Eye of Terror and, waging war. I expected big things out of this book. What I got were small things. Well, not small things, but we got mutilators, we got Kravik Morn, we got the Defiler. It's all big things, but in the greater implication, this feels small. This feels small things. So let's dive into them a little bit, and you can make up your own mind. All right, right off the bat, let's just start simple. We have the new detachments. Of course, that come out wildly ahead of time. We got 2 for Chaos Space Marines, 1 for Space Marines, 1 for Chaos Knights, 1 for Imperial Knights, and 1 for Adeptus Mechanicus. So I think that's the most we've gotten in one of these little pamphlets. The Warp Strike champions seem pretty interesting, very focused on Terminators, Obliterators, and Mutilators, and also have some pretty decent strats for them. I feel like you could actually use this for even maybe some Night Lords. I think it would actually work pretty well. Cult of the Arcaphane vehicle. I feel like this is, I don't know. I mean, I looked through them a little bit. Ceramite Sentinels. They've got some interesting things going on for them for the Space Marines, Hellhound Lance, all that. Standard affair, right? Nothing too crazy here. And also, again, I'm not the number one player in anything, so I'm not going to tell you that this is going to be super OP. No, there's going to be none of that. But you get the idea. The other part of this is book is Apocalypse. So these are Apocalypse rules. Now, there were some people that have talked about Apocalypse. I never got the opportunity to play Apocalypse because of the time it didn't come out. But I heard good things about the rules. Looking at it now, it seems like just a wider version of 10th edition. Apocalypse battles tend to be there's like optional rules adaptations to help things. Agree that instead of making hit, wound, damage saving rolls, the attacking player's unit instead rolls 1d3 or d6, whichever players agree on, and the target suffers that many more wounds. So yeah, it's just like bypassing certain rules and stuff like that. So, I mean, it seems like a way to potentially speed it up. I mean, your stratagems are 2 to 3 CPs, and there's all sorts of stuff in there. I think this is not what people were anticipating, especially if you're just going to play a larger game of 10th edition, then you'll probably just play a larger game of 10th edition. Here's, of course, a picture of the new mutilators. They look pretty solid. And of course, you get some fun little diorama pieces and stuff like that. Them at the Cadian Gate, the Defilers attached to them, Kravik Morn, all of that. But yeah, so essentially you have Apocalypse rules in here, along with an Apocalypse campaign. Um, it's okay. I think they probably could have done more to maybe try and streamline it in a better way than, for example, even just reading that little paragraph of like, of attacking, instead of doing your hit, wound roll, damage, blah, 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 saving, just doing D3 to D6 mortals when you decide to attack something, that doesn't sit quite right with me. Like, even if you're just trying to speed up the game, there's no tacticality to that. I digress. So, you have an Apocalypse book. Now let's get on to the main event, the main campaign book. So, Eye of Terror, Reign of Iron. So, we have a couple developments here. So basically, the Iron Warriors have come out, and they are now attacking the Cadian Gate, which actually was partially held by Black Legion. Fortunately, part of the reason I know this is because I read a little bit of it, and also because Arbiter Ian did a great video on it. So it's talking about the Eye of Terror and like its role. It's been splitting galaxy for a while. It's been, and that's why Cadia was so important, is it had pylons that kept it in place. And then, of course, Abaddon's 13th Black Crusade came. He rage quit and crashed a Blackstone fortress into it, destroying it, rupturing it. And there's still a part of Cadia now that secures that area, but it's still obviously no longer the planet. There's a couple little tidbits on like the traitor legions themselves. Very AdMech focused, along with the Iron Warriors. Obviously, it talks about the Iron Warriors, their role in all of it. It talks about Medrengard, which is, of course, the planet in the warp that Perturabo inhabits, and that he has these little fortress building competitions and sieging and all that. And he kind of wants to turn, from what I understand, it seems like he kind of wants to turn the Cadian Gate into a new Medrengard in real space. So there's that. And of course, we finally get a look at him. Peter Turbo, Birdie. He's officially in a piece of art here. Whether or not we're getting a new model anytime soon is up for debate. But there he is in a big old drawing, and yeah, it looks like he is colossal. Looks like he's got a bunch of vents. He seems like a lot. Like, I get it. He's now a demon prince, but or he's well, demon ascended demon, whatever. Yeah. So he's demon primarch. Close enough. DP. But basically, he just seems like there's a lot. If they make this model, this is just, I don't know. It seems like a little too much. At least with Angron, there are a decent amount of details, but there's a simplicity to it. And I mean, even with Fulgrim, there's a lot of things going on, but for the most part, there's a direct nature to this. This just looks like you took a tech marine, blew it up to a bigger portion, and instead of just having one little claw, he's got 18 of them. Who knows? We'll see when it gets there. I mean, and also I think there's a decent amount of people that feel like he should not have become a demon primarch, specifically because he never liked chaos. So whether or not that was forced on him or he just took it from power, who knows? But really, I'm not gonna lie to you. There really isn't a lot to this. It talks about the Purge of Cadia. It talks about them attacking like specifically Black Legion because that's who they're actually kicking out. They're not kicking out Cadians. No, they fight the AdMech in here and stuff like that, and they try and like push them out. And there's a couple things going on around there. But the thing that I would say stands out the most to me about this, I feel like this didn't move the needle, which is a little unfortunate when you have somewhere so iconic as Cadia, or in this case the Cadian Gate around the Eye of Terror. You would expect bigger things for it. So to get to the end of this book and to have no real teases or anything like that. Like they talk about, something, or at least maybe it's something that I'm missing, but I'm just reading, usually on the back they have that big teaser to set up like big rumors and stuff like that. Like Maelstrom may have teased the Carcharodons, space sharks. The first one may have like teased Lion and Roboot finally meeting and talking. This, I feel like, didn't really tease anything. It just kind of talked about a few more things in here and didn't really give us much more to go on for that. So, what's my review? Officially, it's okay. I mean, you got the detachments in the app, so if you're a competitive player and you're just looking to try out the detachments, they're there. If you want to buy this so that you have the little pamphlet, go for it. But at $80, it's definitely a bit steep for not a lot. At least for me personally. I mean, obviously, I like to have like the full story of things. So when it came to like the Dawnbringer books, even if there was like books that weren't as interesting to me, I still kept them for the sake of moving the story forward. But again, I often refer to the Arcs of Omen, and I refer to the Arcs of Omen because I think that campaign book was actually top tier. Everything moved the plot forward. Even something like Arcs of Omen and Farsight, I'm not as invested in the Tau, but it still did a lot for the plot, and it still moved us in a very forward direction. This one feels like it was just kind of a lateral movement. Maybe it's setting something up for much later, but at least at the moment, it just kind of was okay. So let me know what you think down in the comments down below. And of course, if you like this content, feel free to like, share, subscribe. I massively appreciate it. Of course, we have one more coming. We have Armageddon. That is one that I am personally very excited about, specifically because it's the return of Yarok. We're getting new guard vehicles. there's a lot more happening there, and I feel like this is doing more for the plot. And of course, this is the big setup for 11th edition, right? Orcs versus Blood Angels, or slash Imperium, but mostly Blood Angels are the ones on the box. So we'll talk about that later. But until next time, if you have Orcs, Iron Warriors, Guard, or whoever, I'm willing to bet that you've got to go paint something.